Probando. Hola, hola. 3. Okay, let's go. So I hope everyone is listening now. Gonna do test. Gonna do test. So I guess if everyone is listening now, what I'm gonna do here is basically gonna show you the process um, where basically I follow every time I do a face. But of course, this is started from a sphere because it's actually this we actually teach you like force you to follow basically the anatomic structure of a face. So in this case, I start from a sphere where one thing that I did is first off landmarks the middle of the sphere. And once I have the middle of the sphere, what I do is, which basically give me in a way like the middle of the eyes in a sense, right? It's the same way when you draw, like you have the middle of the eye, just give me like a reference of what I'm gonna put the eyes at the end. And one thing that I do as well is I first off uh, establish the form of the zygomatic bone, where I can see, in this case, for example, this is a male, Caucasian male. So I'm gonna try to keep as close as possible as the proportion as I want at the end. But of course, this is gonna change later on. In this case, I'm gonna try to establish the form very quickly, and of course give me like if I see it from different angles, I have to check that everything is um, correspond to the shape of the skull that I'm trying to looking for, right? So in this case, for example, I try to look at it from the bottom part, and one thing that is very important, especially in the male head, is to emphasize a little bit more the glabella bone. Actually, here you can see in the reference bone, which is very common in males. You're gonna see like more pronounced. So here, like around the eyebrows, um, you're gonna see like a little fat here, depending of course of the kind of the race. But usually, like Caucasians, you're gonna see like a little more volume here. One thing that I like to establish here as well when I'm here is give a little more like the shape here, trying to give you like the reference of the bone where the actually forehead is, so you can see like the structure a little bit, like trying to find the shapes. So of course in this case my head is like shallow, is too like it's flat, so I need to give you like a little more volume, but this is something that's going to happen when you're sculpting. One thing I'm going to do here as well is that I try to jump in between perspective and non-perspective, because this is going to give me like a little more volume to the shape. Because if it start working without let's say perspective, what is going to happen is in some point when I try to export this model to another application, um, we're gonna see like everything is too flat and actually it's not realistic. So we need to try, we need to actually use perspective from the get-go. And one thing that is important to establish as well is the camera angle, or actually the camera length. So if you go here, if you don't see here because this is my own interface, but if you go here, comments, sorry, draw, you can see the camera perspective, and I'm gonna use something between 55 and 85, or even sometimes you can go a little more higher, let's say 120, which is gonna give you like a little more flattened image, and that's gonna help you to kind of see a little more of the shapes, you know. Right now, for example, I can see that my volumes are like I have too much volume on the front, so it's something I'm gonna try to establish as fast as I can from the get-go. And one thing you can see as well from the front top view is my skull shape is not it's not basically or let's say square. It's more like a trapezius in the sense. So you're gonna have always more volume in the back part, let's say on the rear part. So you're gonna see more volume where basically the brain is, right, suited. So you can see I'm gonna add more volumes around here, and this is gonna make more sense when I add the neck part. So in this final, this let's say initial shape is more worry about general forms. I don't care about like any details or anything. It's just give me like the shapes that I want to kind of establish the forms. In this case, for example, I'm gonna mark, let's say, landmark with the dem standard. I have, by the way, I have shortcuts. For example, in my case, I used Alt A for standard, Alt S for dem standard, and Alt D for playable app. That's the one that I use more most of the cases, so that's why I have it here. So I'm gonna use dem standard. I'm gonna try to establish the jawline, but a little bit. Of course, it's gonna be very rough, but that's gonna give me like a reference of what I want. In this case, I'm not following like any particular likeness now, but I will do it once I have like a form that I'm happy with. So for example, first I'm gonna try to establish the form of the jawline. One thing that is important is you can establish this form and then you can modify later once you have like something that you like. I'm gonna try to keep as neutral as possible. Keep in mind this is a male. Gonna try, let me see if actually the microphone is working fine here. Test. Yep. Test. Proof. Yep. Okay. Let's continue. So gonna flat a little bit here. This generally speaking, this part is very flat. Like you can see from the side view, you're gonna see more like the line here. So that's where I like to establish the landmarks as soon as possible. And of course here you're gonna have the sometimes I forget the names, but don't, that's okay. I mean, you don't have to remember all the names. If you remember, that's good because you can speak the language. But this is basically zygomatic bone. This is the glabella, the superfacial. I can't remember now the name, but basically the eyelids, the eyebrows, the eye socket here, right? So that's the most important one. And we're gonna establish a little bit as well the nose, because that's gonna give you like a little proportions of where the rest of the let's say features of the face is gonna be. So I'm gonna try to establish a little form. Like I say, I'm not following any particular face in this moment. I'm gonna do like a, let's say, like a neutral face. It's gonna be, of course, like a, maybe like a more like a Caucasian male, and gonna give you like the nasolabial muscle. Okay, now so one thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna give you like a little more shape. Like I said before, I'm trying to give you like a more volume. More rounded, let's say, not so squarish. And at this point, I like to I would like to add the eyebrows. Sorry, that's what I'm talking about. The ears, because in this case, the ears is gonna give me like a little like a reference of where I can put the rest of the features here, right? I got a landmark as well where the trapezius muscle is gonna start off, and usually you're gonna see like something around, let's say, from here you can see actually the volume here basically, and that's where all like the back muscles attach it. So I'm gonna try to give it like a little shape here so that I can extract there as a reference. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna try to draw like a something like a ears, even though I might need to change the layer. um, I might need to change the layer in case, it's gonna give me like a reference of where I can put the ears in this case. So one thing that I like to do is put the gizmo here, like in the front, then in the back view or like in the bottom view or in the top view, you can basically rotate it, right? And you're gonna have like the shape, or at least the initial shape, and then you can pretty much give it like the form of the ear, sort of the ear. And of course, this is gonna change. You need to establish the form as well, because right now is the proportions are not great. But this is the block code, so I don't have to worry yet about proportions and anything. Just having like the initial shape as close as possible as a human being. And then when you want to follow, let's say, a certain likeness, well, you can play with the volumes and shape and everything. So at this point, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna extract the neck, because that's gonna give me like a little more forms, and it's gonna actually give me like more reference of where like the general structure is gonna be. So we can do it in different ways actually. You can basically do it with a mask and then extract it like this, or you can just bring, let's say, I'm gonna say because sometimes you can crash. So let's put it here. Let's try a pant, and let's try a cylinder, and then we can put it here, right? And usually what are you gonna do for a neck is you're gonna rotate it like a little bit, let's say 50 degrees, something like that. And then you're gonna put like scale down, and then you can, let's say, put it like around here, maybe a little less around here, probably less there. And this is gonna give me like the neck. And then of course one thing you're gonna need as well is, in this case, because it's a male and it's gonna have like the Adam apple, but even if it's a female, you have the trachea, yeah, basically the trachea, right? So you need to put a little volume in front, little volume in front here, and then you need to activate the symmetry. Then you can give it like a little bit of shape here. Okay, I like it. Yeah, this is really good. So then one thing I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to extract sort of the like the trapezius, right? Um, you can do it in different ways as well. You can do it like dynamic here and then extract it, or the way I like it more is again append. You can do it with the cylinder as well. Then position it here 90 degrees and then another 90 degrees, and then scale it down and put it like around here. Yeah, around here. Yeah, I like it. So with the symmetry on, gonna do try to give it like a little shape. One thing you have to make sure when you establishing the, let's say, the bust form, or let's say the where the clavicle and the shoulders and everything is suited, you need to put it like a little like a bend backward, because you're gonna have basically the clavicle, right, going backward, right? It's not like straight or anything. It's going to the rear part. So you're gonna have something like this, and in this case, for example, if you're gonna do a more like a old old man, you can do it more like a straight, or if he's more younger, you're gonna have more muscle, which means your shoulder is gonna be a little more down, right? So it depends of what kind of person you're doing here, right? So you're gonna have a little here, and then you're gonna try to put it like a little more like the shape here. But I'm not gonna worry too much about this part yet. It's just to give it like a little shape. And then one thing I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna merge down everything. You can go here, merge down, okay, merge down, okay. And then what I'm gonna do is Dynamesh it. I'm gonna use a lower, very low Dynamesh, because I don't wanna worry about details yet or polygons. So I'm gonna do something very low. So in my Dynamesh, um, once again, this is my interface, so I have everything more kind of easy to pick, you know. So in this case, I'm gonna use 64 in my Dynamesh. I'm gonna try, well, maybe less. You can see here my active points is 8,000, or actually 9,000 almost ish. So I'm gonna try to keep it like the same level, probably more, but not too much. So yeah, I like this one. That's perfect. So it's 32 my damage, but this is gonna depends of your scale, the scale of your model, right? So don't use this as a as a as a reference or as a style point. Depends of your scale. In this case, actually works very fine. So one thing I'm gonna do now, since I have everything dynamic together, I'm gonna try to first establish the form of the sternocleidomastoid, which is the muscle that comes from the back of your ear. Basically, you can touch it. When you rotate your head, you're gonna see it. So we're gonna put it like around here, coming from the back of the ear, and it's gonna go going around here, and then you're gonna landmark it the top of the clavicle, right? So then when you have the clavicle, you're gonna kind of establish the form there, but it's gonna be very rough at the moment, because I'm not worried too much about details and anything. Just kind of give me like a little bit of form there, and you can give it like a little more shape there, just to give me like a little more form. And I'm gonna do something more like not like a very muscular man. So I'm gonna try to put like not too much muscle, so it's gonna be like a more thin old man sort of kind of. So we're gonna try to have a little more like a long neck, thinner neck, not too muscular in a sense. But of course I need to establish the muscles in a way, because the anatomy is there, right? Even if you're thin or fat or anything, you need to have the, hey man, how's it going? So you need to have the shapes anyway, right? So you can add or remove fat after you have the forms, like the anatomy established. So you can do it in this case. For example, my guy has little like a short neck problem. That's usually happen when you have too much muscles, right? So I'm gonna try to put it like a little more in a normal situation there. Or let's say, yeah, I can run here, right? It depends of what you're trying to achieve in the sense. So the trapezius, of course, you have to be like around, like put it. If you saw it, let's say if you see it from the front, what thing you're gonna see is the sternocleidomastoid first, right? But then you're gonna have the trapezius like a little bit shape there. But of course, when you're talking about an old person, for example, usually here you're gonna see like a volume, like a volume, for example, right? Or you don't see like a very structural muscle, like very marked, let's say. So you're gonna have you have to take care of that once you when you're sculpting the model, the character, for example. So I'm gonna mark. No problem, man. Really like it. So in this case, for example, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to shape a little bit this part here. Usually, I don't have reference now, but one thing I recommend is looking at different reference from different angles, and usually you're never gonna see like very straight shapes. And in anything that is natural, let's say or human, you're never gonna see like a straight shapes like 90 degrees or whatever, right? So you're gonna have like a rounded shapes, I would say, right? Of course, if you're gonna do like something more stylized, that's a different story. You're usually gonna see more sharp angles, but in this case, since it's realistic, I'm gonna try to keep everything as rounded as possible. Gonna try. I'll try to keep around here, right? Yeah, this part is gonna be like a little mess, but I'm trying. I'm gonna try not to worry too much about this part yet, even though my kind of like I always try to keep when I sculpt a face or whatever, I always try to work in every aspect. But since this is going to be more like teaching in a way, right? I'm gonna try to keep it structured in a sense. So let's say go back to the face at the moment. I don't want to spend too much time on this part. I'm gonna fix it later. So here in the apple, the Adam apple, I think it's the Adam apple. I'm gonna try to establish a little there the shape because this is gonna give you like a little more like a reference of where you can separate between the neck, let's say the neck area and the jaw. Is really good if you have it established really from the get-go. Let me shape a little bit more because this need to be a little more like basically like a shape, right? Like an S, let's say. And around here, okay. So this part I think is one of the tricky parts, is because most of the cases, actually most even include myself, right? I did the same mistake many times. So for example, when you have the jawline, one thing you're gonna see is even if you see from the front, you're gonna see something that is basically a muscle that is coming from the like the corner of the jaw, and it's gonna go in this direction, right? Well, actually, you have fat and everything here, but the muscle is gonna be very pronounced in this area, depending of course of the fat of the person. Like if the person has less fat, you're gonna see more this shape, like this kind of plane here. So it's basically you draw a plane from the from the bottom of the eye from to actually, let's say, around ish, around here. So you're gonna have a plane. When you see from the front, you're gonna see like a flat plane here, but you're gonna see like the difference between this level and this level, right? And that's gonna give you the structure of the mouth area and the jaw area. And you're gonna see like a very like a clear difference between those areas. And of course you're gonna add more fatness, let's say at the end, when you have everything more established. At the moment, I'm gonna try to find like a good structure here. Again, I might need to have a reference, like follow someone specific, because at this point you have like a structure, but if you don't follow like a specific likeness, is it's kind of a little mess, because you can end up with someone, let's say neutral, but if you don't have a likeness in it or a reference, it's really hard to like basically follow like a different, like a specific, let's say structure or something, right? So let's try. Okay, I have something that I like so far, like at least for this I don't know, like 30 minutes. So one thing that I would like to think now is, okay, what is going to be because right now I have the eyes, sort of the eye socket established, but I don't have like anything like the eyelids or anything. So one thing that I like to do is, this point, first off, I will add a little more of let's say details to the Dynamesh, because right now I need more. So let's say instead of 32, I'm gonna have, let's say 64. Let's see. Yeah, it's 35. That's correct. I'm trying to keep as low as possible, because when I'm sculpting this in this stage, I don't need to think about details and anything. It's just matter of put it like the landmarks in the right place. So one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to draw, let's say, like someone who is have like the eyes closed, sort of like sleeping. I mean, this is one way, but you can do it in many different ways. You can, for example, do it in this way, but the problem with this kind of sort of the way is, you after need to, after you have everything established and everything, you have to close the eye. Sorry, open the eye. So sometimes it's a little problematic. So I'm gonna show you like a different way that I like to do sometimes, depending of the likeness. Is I like to establish sort of like a draw an eye here, but what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna use Sculptris Pro, right? So you can go here. I think it's transform. What is that? Stroke. Yeah, stroke. So you can activate this one. I actually have it in my interface here. Um, One thing that you have to keep in mind is this brush only works with certain, basically certain brushes, right? Not all the brushes actually work with it, so you have to be careful which one you use. But I know standard dem standard and clay build-up works actually pretty fine. So one thing I'm gonna do here is gonna draw an eye, let's say, right? I'm gonna try to draw a line, an eye, very, how do you call this? Like very rough, nothing too crazy, because that's gonna give me like a reference, right, of where it's gonna be like the eye shape, and this is gonna give me like a really nice like point of reference for the for the proportions basically. Um, so this is gonna be like very rough, so nothing crazy. I'll try to draw draw here. Like the eyelid here. This is very rough, as you can see. Like I don't have to worry too much about details and anything. It's just to have like a reference of where the eye is gonna be, and you can even add here. So when I have something that I like, I'm doing very quick here. Here. So one thing I'm gonna do is with the move, right? Gonna establish the forms very quick. So you need to basically look at it from different angles. Like for example, if you look at from the side view, you're always gonna see like the eyelid, the top eyelid is gonna be like a little more pronounced than the lower lip eyelid. Sorry. So I'm gonna try, and of course the form of the eye is gonna be always like a little like rounded, so it's not like flat or anything, because you have the eyeball like underneath, right? So this is like a way. Of course, you can have like a sphere as a reference if you want, but sometimes I feel like having a sphere is gonna hold you in the sense of like putting the eyes in the right place from the beginning. So I like to put it like from the beginning. So it's gonna give you like a little more freedom. So I can mask this for example here. Can soft the mask a little bit, and then I can move it. I can move it around, and I don't have to worry about like anything, topology, anything. Right? I can gonna activate. Of course, this is like one way of doing it. Like you have many ways. Like everything in life, right? You can try different workflows, but this is what the way I like it. So give me like a little more shape here. You're gonna have the way I like to like give it like a little more like a muscular shape, let's say. Is give you like a very sharp angle here, and then you have this volume here, right? And you can smooth it out a little bit. Of course, this is a very rough structure, but once you have something that you like, is after it's very easy. You know, when you have something that the initial form is well done, or let's say it's not perfect, but it's well done. You can later like keep adding things, you know, and then you can wrap the base mesh, and then you can keep going with it. But you know, since I have something that the forms are well established, you know, after that it's more easy to keep going with the other shapes. The eyes is something that is I think is kind of give you like a little more natural shape, natural feeling to the sculptor, or the sculpt in this case, because it's gonna give you like a little more close to human thing, you know, because otherwise if you don't have eyes, it's gonna be like more like an alien or something, or I don't know, like I don't know what. So then once you have it, right, something like you kind of work. Of course, you're gonna have to keep going with it and keep moving the shapes. One thing that I like to establish next is the around here, like the nose and everything. So again, you can establish something quick, you know, and I like to establish first the top of the nose. Usually the top of the nose is gonna be like two spheres. Let me actually give you like a little more details. Again, using the Sculptris Pro. You can see the wireframe if you want, like with the Shift F. So I can give you like a little more, let's say, details in this part specific. And gonna deactivate the Sculptor Pro and gonna add two volumes here, right? This is going to be the top of the nose. And then once you have the top of the nose, one thing you're gonna do is I'm gonna landmark the nostrils here. And you're gonna draw like a form here. I mean, this is gonna be like a little bit rough, but it's gonna work anyway. There you go. Of course, this is a very raw shape. So I'm gonna use the move again. You need to see from different angles because this is like a shape that's gonna be more three-dimensional. But if you see from one angle only, it's gonna be like a little flat in a sense, right? So you have to make sure you have all the angles covers, right? Cover all the angles, let's say. So the nostrils, I can add a little more volume here. And usually you have less, let's say, volume here and more volume here. Of course, this is gonna depends of the person. Person change a lot, but if you have a good structure, again, it's gonna help you to follow like a certain, like a specific likeness, we'll say, right? So in this area, for example, one thing that I like to do is once you have, let's say, this shape, you're gonna see like one thing that happen is this shape here, it's gonna be like one line, right? But instead of going this direction, like to the middle part, what is gonna happen is it's gonna go like inside, right? Inside the nose. Let me actually give you a little more details so you can see what I'm talking about. So here, right, instead of going this direction, it's gonna go this direction, like inside, right? So you can see like different reference and everything. For the next stream, I'm gonna try to bring the reference. In this case, I didn't bring it because I don't know why my PREF didn't work, and I had to check like everything is correct. And so for the stream, I didn't check that before I actually started. So you're gonna have, okay, so once you have this, right? So you can have, one thing you can establish as well is like here, you can have a really like have a form there. In this case, I need to add, probably I need to re-dynamic it because right now it's gonna go a little crazy. Let me see if I can put like 120 maybe. Actually lose a little bit of that, but anyway, so it's not a problem because I want to keep like everything as clean as possible. Right now the nose is very thin, I would say, and I need to establish a little more of the form of the tabique. I don't know how you say in English, but it's, you know, the shape of the basically the muscle, like the bone here. There you go. So the point is you can see from a distance and you can kind of see the shapes, right? Because at this moment I'm working with very low res. So if you can see something, you can see a face from a certain distance, it's because you go into the right direction. Gonna smooth a little bit the shapes. Let's give you a little more volume. There you go. I like a little more. Maybe I can. Again, you can move around and see what is the proportions you want. Of course, a little more volume. So yeah, I have something that is not, it's looking not bad. I mean, it's okay. Need to add like a little more. Establish a little more of the forms of the eye socket. I'm gonna give you like a little volume here to the forehead because right now it's very flat. You don't see like any shape here. Of course, you need to use. I mean, in this case, because I'm using like a what's it called, like a screen tablet, I have to use like a very low sensitive, or let's say intensity, because that's the way I like to work with. But of course, this is gonna depends of your like tablet, you know. If you're using like a Wacom tablet, like the one that is not the screen, usually you need to use like a little more how do you call this, like you know, the pressure is different basically, right? With the screen tablet, is the pressure, at least the one that I have, is more like sensitive. So I had to use like a very low number. There you go. Okay, I like something here. There you go. Okay, so one thing that I can do here now is establish the, let's say I want to add, in this case, the mouth, right? So the mouth, you can do it in many different ways, but the way I like it is, first, I like to establish, let's say, the middle line, right? In the sense, for example, uh, like establish. If you see a reference, you're always gonna see in the shape of the upper lip. I can't remember now. It has different names and everything, right? But honestly, I never remember the names of the anatomy or anything. So I like to first establish the middle point, and as a reference, you're gonna have something around here. This is gonna be like the, let's say, the end of the mouth in a way, and that's gonna give me like a reference of where I can put the lower lip, the upper lip. And then one thing that I like to do is, once I have the, let's say, the corner, is I like to draw in a way like the lower lip, right? So you can draw a line here, and of course this is gonna look pretty bad, but don't worry, this is fine, because that's gonna give me like the initial point for establish the volume of the, let's say, the chin bone, right? So we're gonna remove volume here. So you're gonna have, it's gonna look very bad, no worries, it's part of the process. You're gonna actually remove a liver shape here, because you're gonna have the chin bone. It's gonna be like a, like a, how do you call this, like a, in a way basically squarish. Of course, depends of the person again, but in this case it's gonna be like a more neutral. And then when you have here, right, when you have the shape, you can start basically trying to looking at the nasolabial muscle, which is the one that comes from the nose, I reckon around here, and then go to the all the way. Actually, let me mark it so you can see it. So it's gonna come from here, and then it's gonna go around here, right? So it's gonna go all the way here, basically. So you're gonna see muscle, like a lot of volume here, depending of the person, but some, like in Caucasians, for example, you're gonna see mostly more like pronounced. So you're gonna see like very pronounced, and as well in old old persons, you're gonna see even more, because the shape of the face is gonna, it's gonna, basically when the years have like, when you're old, you're gonna lose like a lot of fat in the face, right? So you're gonna see more the bone structure and the muscle, and you're gonna see less less fat. So that's why you can see more the, like, usually you're gonna see more the cheekbones and everything, and even here you're gonna see like more the muscle here. But again, this case, I'm not gonna do like a very old man, but something like around, let's say, 13 or 14s. So you're gonna have, it is not gonna be like too much fatness, let's say. So I'm gonna give it like a little more volume here. And then one thing you can do here to kind of give it the form of the the lips. So I like to add one, let's say, how do you call it, like a holder, which is basically the top of the sorry, the lips. And then, right, so when I have the hole, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the opposite actually. So add one bump, and then one protuberance, but from like inside, right? So it's gonna give you like a little bit of shape of the the lips. So I'm gonna try. This part is a little bit tricky because you're gonna lose the volumes very easily. So you have to look it from different sides and trying to find the shape. So it's not gonna be like straightforward in a sense, right? So you have to move it around, and probably you need to smooth out a little bit as well, depending of how well you structure at the beginning. So most important thing is when you see from the side view, you have volume either from the top, right? So the top lip and the bottom lip. So yeah, this part is tricky actually. So I see actually I need a little more volume here. So I need to redraw this part. Nice. So then I like to give it like a little shape of the, like the volume of of the the lips, because that's gonna give me like a little of the shape, and then I can give you like a little of the lower lip. So kind of looks really funny at the moment because I don't have like any volumes, right? So one thing I'm gonna do here is first gonna mask the the upper lip around here, and then I'm gonna push the lower lip like inside, and even the upper lip a little more uh, like outward, right? Because usually when you see from the bottom, you're gonna have like the volume of the upper lip more pronounced than the lower one, right? Although if you see from this side view, you're gonna have, let's say, the upper lip going like on front of the lower lip, but you're gonna see this part here, like this little volume that is going on like around here, like pronounce it, right? Because the muscle is going like outward, and then depending of the age of the person, you're gonna have like more hanging or more straight, right? Usually if it's an old person, it's gonna be more hanging, so you're gonna have more, even more shape here. But again, depends of the person you're doing at the moment. So I'm gonna try establish that form here. This is the shape that I like to call the mustache shape, because when you mask this mustache shape, it's gonna give you like instantly like the shape of the lips in a sense, right? So you're gonna have a little volume here. So I think you're gonna have more volume, of course, on this part here, like this muscle. And in this point, is the shape is really, it's really weird. Actually, it needs to be like a little more wide. So generally speaking, the the eyelid, the lips has to have the same. If you actually use the middle of your eyes, the middle of the eyes has to be like in the on the corner of your mouth in a sense, right? And you're gonna give you like a little more depth. And I feel like have I need to have more shape of the, you can have it like a little more long, sort of like a long face in a sense. Again, I'm not following like any reference specifically now, but it's really good if you have like a specific reference now, once you have like basically the structure established, I would say, okay, this is the moment you need to have like a reference, like follow like a specific likeness, I would say. Because if you follow like a likeness from the get-go, it's gonna be like more hard because you don't know, the structure. Like let's say the anatomy of the person is really, sometimes you don't have like the specific reference, or you don't know what is the volume you need to attack. So it's better if you find the structure at the beginning, and then when you have the structure, like a really good established structure, you can go and then go to the, and try to do the likeness. So I don't know what is the likeness that I'm gonna follow yet. So if you guys have like any likeness that you guys like would like to see, kind of, shoot me put in the chat if you want, like someone specific. Of course, it has to be like a male in this case, right? So you already start with a male. Then I have something that I like, even though it's not perfect for sure, but it's looking like someone in a sense, right? So maybe the mouth shape is not like the best one in the world, but at least kind of give me like a reference of what could be, right? Can give it like a more shape. This shape here is really strange, so I'm gonna actually shape a little bit. Again, I'm not worried or anything about like any specific detail, but if you can shape a little of the form from this part, it's really good. Gonna try to give it like a little more space here, because right now it's too like the space between the lower lip and the basically the actual thing, the actual I call this. Sorry, I was have like a brain fart at the moment. Chin, right? So yeah. Okay, so now I see that my face needs a little more volume from the side view. Like needs a little more. It's very flat, right? Remember the ears is always like in the half of the half of the head and going to the back. And of course you don't have like usually you don't have like a distance here from, let's say, from the ears to the back. You don't have like a too much distance, like it's usually it's very short. One thing that I would recommend though is if you have a scan of a person, that will help a lot. For example, 3 Star Store actually have like a really good reference, like a lot of different reference actually. Say raw facts, for example. Let's put it here so you guys can see it. So you can, let me see, where's the head scans? Raw, this one. Well, this is the, I want to see the actually the scans itself. Yeah, for some of these. So if you see, for example, the raw scan, yeah, you can see here the shapes are really like, let's say, soft, very soft actually, if you can see. But if you have like one of those models, like you can have it like as a reference when you're sculpting, and that's going to give you like a really good structure for for following. So you can have it like in here, like in serious, right? So it's really nice. Chat here. Okay. So chat. Chat. Nice. So I need to add more depth, right? more volume as well. Because in this case, like the person looks like very old. It doesn't have any volume there. And again, I will add a little fat here because usually like everyone has fat here, right? And the Adam apple, of course, as well. I think I need to add more. Let's try with the perspective I was using. Let's try 85. I need to have. I need like my shape of the skull is very flat, so I might need to add a little more volume here. Usually have like a little fat here around the muscle actually connect with the skull. I have like a little pronounced volume here because this is like connection between the sternomarclosoid and the trapezius. And the ears, I'm gonna try to establish the form. The ears is another beast because it's like a very specific forms and stuff. But once you have the say the most basic form established, it's a little more easy, but definitely it's tricky. Same as the mouth. I try to structure a little bit more of the shape here. Because right now it looks like a little like nothing is there basically. To have like one monitor just for Twitch, but I will do it later. So okay, for the ears, one thing I'm gonna do is gonna use the DEM standard. So first I'm gonna establish the form of the helix, right? Basically, I'm gonna try to draw the form here, kind of. I mean, this is very like when you establish, it's gonna be very rough. I'm gonna try to draw a little line here. I like to first separate this part here, like let's say the actual skull and the ear itself, because sometimes what can happen, I often see uh, like this connection here, like, and that's not correct. You don't have like this connection. Basically, you can have like fat, like this, but you're never gonna have like the ears connected directly with the skull, right? So you're always gonna have a gap here. So that's why I like to first establish, even though I might need to add more resolution here, but I don't want to worry too much about. So once you have the form, you can first add the antihelix or the concha, and the antihelix is gonna happen like, let's say, inside, right? So it's gonna add volume from this angle. So you're gonna have the ears hole there. I don't know, this might need like a scientific name, but ears hole you can call it. So you can go around there. So, and of course, the helix actually is gonna go all the way here and then go inside, right? So it's not gonna happen, like it's not only one shape in a sense, right? So you have starting from this the lobula and then going all the way here and then going inside, right? So you need to separate the shape here. So right now it looks I need to add more volume, more resolution here. So let's try with let's try with an animation. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's not bad. Thought it was gonna lose like a little more shape there, but it's not bad. So one thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna mask this here, which is the well, I always forget the name. I can't remember now. I think it's global or something like that, right? So if you can see from the front, you're gonna have like a little bump there. Then you're gonna have shape there, right? So you can have basically, let's do it again. Helix, antihelix. It's going here, and maybe I need to add like a more volume here because it's too flat. The antihelix is going to be, it's going to touch this area here. It's gonna touch almost the back of the ears in a sense. So if you, for example, let's do the next. Let's separate a little more here. So right now it's big. If you, let's say, oops, I don't want to cut anything. I want to isolate this part. So if you see from inside, let's say, I want to activate double side. If you see from inside, what is going to happen is this little like anti-helix that is happening there is going to touch almost, not like very close, the back of the ear, right? Sense, right? So the distance between this part and this part is going to be like very short in the sense, right? And that's going to give you like the when you do the render, you're gonna, usually you're gonna see the scatter, the scatter, the scatter color is gonna happen because you don't have like too much distance from here to here, right? So it's very nice if you have a very short distance there. Let me reshape a little bit. It's really good if you can shape from different angles, not only one angle, because again, this is something that you need to think in different dimensions in a sense. So you can't draw only one angle, because otherwise it's gonna look really weird. Let's add a little more. There you go. And then you have another volume here, which again I can remember the name, but every part of the ear has its specific names. So you can, I mean, if you want, you can remember everything, but I think it's not necessary. And I need to add more volume here. And one thing that is important is when you see from the front, right? You're gonna see, of course, depending again of the person, but usually you're gonna see this volume like popping up, popping out a little bit, right? A little bit like this, and this one around here, and this connection here, usually you're gonna see a volume like this volume that is, let me actually put it here. And let me add one more subdivision here. There you go. You're gonna have this volume that is gonna pop out a little bit from the front, right? It's not gonna be like flat in a sense. So draw a line here. And some persons has like a connected, and other persons have like a really sharp separation here. So again, depends. Not everyone is the same, that's for sure. Side. There you go. Maybe it's too much. And I need to add more separation here because right now it looks a bit weird. And you have like a more volume, right? It's not like a flat or pinch volume. It's more like a square in a sense, flatten. And you can see one thing that I like to do is, if you see from the back, you can see the volume of the how do you call this, like the volume of the sternum occlusoid, like a little sitting. So it's like, it's a really nice shape when you have this actually, especially males, well in females as well, but you can see from the back you can see the shape of the sternocleidomastoidea. Then I can give you like a little more shape here. Right now, can I give you like a more volume coming from the cheekbone? Give it like a more volume. Then I can add more volume here. Very soft shapes, sorry, because like in humans you're always gonna see everything smooth, right? Can add one thing that I would like to add is a little more volume here. But again, you can keep going with it and play with different shapes and stuff. So I can even change the shape of the eyes. Again, kind of depends of the likeness you're following it. In this case, I don't know, I invent someone, I guess. Little bit of shape here. You can see like a clear separation between the eye fat that it actually accumulates like in the top of the corner of the eyes. You can pronounce a little bit like the zygomaticum. Oh, sorry, this is not the zygomatic. This is the anyway. So anyway, and one thing you can do as well is you can change the colors. Change gray colors, and you can change the light as well, the light position, because that's gonna give you like a little more reference of like the shapes. Can even add one more light, something. Oh, actually, this one doesn't like too much. Top view, something. So in that case, you can see like the shape here, for example, like the cheekbone needs to have a little more volume. I think at the moment it looks a little bit like Cristiano Ronaldo in a way. But I don't know. Can add more volume here in the corner of the eyelid. The eyelid, yeah, sorry, the eyelid. Of course, this part needs a little more work in the sense of like adding more shapes and stuff. But I don't like to. Actually, I don't like to play with too much with the details yet, right? So I like to have the structure the structure first, and then we have something that I like. Try to square. I like to add a little more shape to the eyelid. But again, probably need to add at this moment. I will need to add like a sphere for reference, because right now I feel like it needs like a little shape there. But I think I'm gonna try to keep as clean as possible with it. Too much volume there, so I'm gonna remove a little bit with Alt. Let's add more, more volume here, because right now it feels like too thin, right? Doesn't have like any muscle something. Too much. Let me see. Need to look at it from different angles, because right now I feel like something weird with the shape. Oops. Look at this. This is perfect. Amazing. Well, there's definitely this person that has this kind of shape, right? This is a little happy mistake. Again, let's see from here. Let's say let's try with a flat color. Point of this is this point you're having like something that is uh, anatomical correctnesses. And here, the back part is a little bit like a mess. Actually, let me fix it. So of course you have the trapezius muscle that's coming from here, but as well you have the spine. The this case, I might need to add. There you go. The uh, B, you can change the color. You can change between like the color you have here, which is really nice when you look in the shapes and everything. So I'm gonna separate a little bit more the ears. I think right now it's too close to the skull shape. This landmark here is gonna add it like a little more volume. So you can lose a little shape here. Okay. Yeah, this is really funny actually. It looks like from the side view. But really like how can I give it a little bit of character in the sense. So I'm gonna try to keep like this, but let's see. Let's see. Maybe at the end we change it. I don't know. Let's add a little more volume here. Usually have like a drop form here, so it's not straight in a sense. This part is a little bit tricky because I don't have like too much resolution, but yeah. So try to keep sharp as possible. So I guess okay, we are 2 hours almost in. So we're gonna do like another 30 minutes. So let's see if we can put like in the shape that I like. I mean, it's not bad, but definitely I would need to add more more shape. Let's add a little more volume here for the nasolabial muscle. I can add like a little bit of separation here if you want. A little more structure, let's say. And usually here you're gonna have like a triangle shapes that it actually forms around here, because you have the muscle from the nasolabial and you have the muscle from the muscle coming from, you know, from this side that actually conform the form of the lips. So you're gonna have like a little more volume there. Like I say, this is not like an old man, so I'm not gonna add like too much volume, but at least to have separation there. And then you can add this mark here, and you can separate with the eye socket. Or the eye bag. Feel like I need more volume. There you go. Okay, I think at this point, yeah, this is the point that I need to follow a likeness. So I don't know who is the guy yet. That's why I need now someone who, you know, a shape to follow. But right now, if I don't follow like a shape or something, even if it's someone, even if you follow like a neutral shape, but if you don't have like a reference, let's say, it's a little bit harder. So I'm gonna use this guy that I really like the face from the TV show. Let's call it like 180 something. So this guy, this is gonna be like my reference, right? So we can put like 8083. So this is like the guy, right? Like a Western style. And this is going to be my reference. But uh, nevertheless, know, I'm not gonna be attached 100% to like to the likeness. Or well, I don't know. Maybe yes. Depends. When you one thing that I like to do is when you're sculpting is you can use as a reference, but you don't need to be attached like 100%. So, but it's really nice if you have a reference. So let's put here. So I'm gonna use PureRef, which is like an app for putting like reference in a word, let's say, and like a reference word we call it, and since can put it here, and then it's gonna be always like on top, you know. With if I drag with my right click, I can move the reference around and I can keep, working on it and have the almost reference there. So let's bring more reference here. Try to find a reference from front, another one from three quarter, and another one from side view, like this one for example. I mean, side view is the hardest one, but if you have it, it's gonna give you like a whole of a reference in the sense of like you can see the structure of the face very clearly if you see it from the side view, like a profile. Like this type. Test, from test, from test. Down. Let's see if we can get something to see more. Yeah, this is far, as you can see here. Let me see if we can get this one. Yep. Okay, I think it's well. This is good because I can see the shape of the mouth. Well, you can search forever, but it will really great if I can find one without the mustache because I can see the shape of the mouth. But it's really good. Anyway, so I'm gonna move this guy here and I'm gonna break this hat. So one thing I'm gonna do here is try to find this one. Look at this. I'm not that far though, although my nose needs to be a little more like pointy. Every nose is different. It's good actually. Can I give you like a little different shapes to work with? Let's actually do something here. I'm gonna duplicate this model. So, well, actually no. Let me go. Gonna, because when I keep the model that I have here, like the structure that we have, so I wanna have like a reference point of what we have before actually going to the likeness. So, well, one thing that I haven't done yet is save the model. I mean, save the file. So you let's do the next workshop 3D ZBrush. Okay, let's do save this guy. It's going to be like this. So I'm gonna go back before I did the change in the nose. Then duplicate it. So I have this is the old and this is the new. So from here I'm gonna work on the likeness. So we're gonna see how much we change the shape of the guy, you know. I mean, according, following the shape, basic, following the likeness of the actor in this case. Here, this is like more like a free. Trying to find the shapes first. Of course, this guy is a little more older, so we're gonna have like a little more folds and stuff. This angle, I can see that the shape they have fatness here. Side view, you can see like a little bit of the folds basically happening here. Here, the ears. Try to copy like as much as I can from here. now that I follow something, it's a little more easy to basically just change the shapes of the my sculpt, my my base basically. So if you don't have the base, it's a little more tricky to establish the forms. Let's say from the beginning, if you don't have like a really good base. Now I want to see like something from the front. All right. Okay. Let's see here. First off, the shape of the eyes are trying to mask this one here. Again, I'm not using any like a sphere or anything as a reference for the eyeballs, but because I wanna free like a what do you call it, like a freehand first, and then when I have something that I like, I'm gonna add the eyeball. I'm using a combination between the standard and clay wood dab. Try to establish the form of the upper lid. Upper lid. More how you call this, like more resolution here, but I don't wanna yet. I think my problem now is I need to use like a more flat lens, because right now the guy definitely has like a very flat lens. If you see from like I'm it's very easy to view like a flat lens when you have like a very sharp depth of field. That means you have like a very long length lens, right? Like something like around, I don't know, 85, 120, probably more. You can see like a sharp, like very shallow depth of field, we'll say. To, to, to in this case, the guy has like a very transition in here is not very visible, right? So just to pronounce. You can even add like the mustache if you want, but to give you like a more volume and actually give me like more reference, because the mustache right now is basically the shape, one of the main shapes here, so it feels like I need. So here's the tricky part, because now we are fighting with the anatomy and trying to, you know, find the shape of the likeness in this case. So that's why I always say, man, don't go in the hard way, like more work smart, no hard. So that's why you need to always have like the structure in the beginning, so you don't have to worry too much about the likeness. And then when you have the structure, you can go with the likeness, which is more simple. You can add sort of like eyebrows. Can add a little more like the shapes of the wrinkles, because this guy is very wrinkly. Because the character, needs the fonts. Feels like he's smiling for some reason. So I'm gonna. This thing could be added like as a separate mesh, of course. Maybe I can add like let's say can extract, but in this point, since I'm not 100% sure yet with the shape, let's try. I'm gonna extract shape. There you go, and then accept. this thing here. So it's a little more like a sharpness to the brush. There you go. Yeah, this is just a reference, of course. It's gonna give me like a little, like a really good shape to follow. No? Right, so at the moment I'm gonna leave it like that, and then I need to structure a little more shape here. Right now it feels like very bad. See if we can find like a reference with a mustache. See the shape of the lips actually. Same Elliot. No mustache. There you go. Come on, man. Here is. This is like a smiling. Let's see if we can find something better. He's always smiling for some reason. always in 90, I don't know, some reason. Anyway, I can follow, see if I can follow this. Let's put it here. So yeah, in a old person, what's gonna happen is, since the muscle are kind of old, you're gonna see like shape of the lips usually are more like a sharpened, so you see more of the muscle itself. Very sharp. It's just for, have to care only about the like the like let's say the structure of the lips, but not to worry too much about the like the details and anything, because that's gonna give me, when I add the colors, that's when I will add actually the information there, like the actual information of the lips. Here I'm playing with Cleveland and the MS Thunder, because I want to add like a real difference volume between the upper lip and the lower lip. So I like to have like a difference, like a real difference between so I can see a little more the shape there. It's too much volume there. It's fine. I'm pressing P to activate and disactivate the perspective. There you go. Let's see what the mustache. Okay, it's not bad. Not bad at all. think now I need to add the, because it's necessary to add the eyeballs. For now feels flat. Let's see. Yep. More volume. Feel like I lose a little bit volume here. This angle. Something off. There you go. Set the eyeballs. Need like the structure. I think like the structure is not quite there yet. Let's see. Let's add let's add now the eyes, the eyeballs for save. When I hide the eyeballs, one thing that happens is I instantly see like my shapes are not that great, but that's the point of not using the eyeball from the beginning because you don't feel like attached to shape itself. from the beginning, right? So I'm trying to put it like in the right place now. And one thing I'm gonna do now is gonna, let me see, actually let me rotate it. I can put it like this here. Then add, yeah, gonna add the mask, and then gonna move a little bit, then smooth. So that's gonna give me like a cornea shape. But of course the eyes are not perfect, so usually you have like a little more like this, like more oval shape. It's not like a very circle shapes. And as well, one thing that happened is the shape is not like the angle is not like straight. It's a really like rotated slightly outward, like let's say 5 degree. So the eyes are pointed like a in a it's not straight to the camera. Right? Let's look at a different place. Yeah, damn. This one. Yeah. Mirror. Yeah, here is a little tricky because right now I have a shape established. But yeah, now I need to adapt these things to this shape. It's really weird, right? Can paint as well. Can paint the eyeball here. Let's add standard. Let's paint with RGB. Be more. Then I can add the sort of the what do you call this? Like the iris. Here. So this is gonna give you like a where's the shape of the, if you see, for example, here, you can see the shape of the iris there. So then I can stop here, following this shape here. Yeah, right now I have to adapt this form. Oops. To add, yeah. Maybe. Okay, yeah, right now it's a little tricky because I don't have like any structure here. Let me see how it looks. Okay. Yeah, I need to add a little more like uh, concave, right? Shape. I little like the eye socket inside. It's gonna look really weird now because, but the good thing is I can shape it. Yeah, it's not gonna be perfect now, but it's a matter of time. And definitely need more resolution here. Yes. Depth, because right now it's super big. Trying to add like more depth to the eyelids. For right now, it feels like very pinch. Let's say, not very sharp. Yeah. One thing I can do here is I can isolate and can move it, so it's more easy to kind of shape the form and follow it. If I go here, transparent, go here, oops, cost. So it's more easy to follow the shape here. There you go. Now, gonna lose a little bit of the shape here. I need more resolution here. Yeah. It's really tricky because right now I don't have like as much information as I want. But let me actually put it. Let's do the next. I'm gonna use again the Sculpey Pro. Actually, yeah, there you go. Let's try with the Sculpey Pro because I need more resolution here to define the shape of the eyes. Let's add this alpha, yeah, because I want to have like a sharpened shape is. I'm gonna add like a lazy mouse of 0.5 lazy step, sorry, so that's gonna give me like a more sharper. So I think I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to draw if you raise the so the eyelid is very thick, usually it's thick, right? So try to keep it. Problem in right now is because I'm using sculptures, so my details is gonna be pretty high here. So as you can see in the wireframe, but it's gonna give me like a little more structure to find the shape here. You can see the match here. There you go. Yeah. At the moment I'm sculpting everything in symmetry mode, so because I don't want to worry too much about asymmetry at the moment. But of course in some point I need to add asymmetry to establish better the forms, kinda, you know, do the likeness basically. I'm trying to follow this shape here because that's the shape that's gonna give me like the form of the eyes. It's a tricky form here. It's not easy. this. Yeah, let's. I'm trying to keep it a little bit loose here. This area is a little more square, I would say. Yeah, kind of looks a little bit of the shape here, but it's not that far though. Yeah, I don't like too much the shape right now, but yeah, this is part of the the process. Basically, sometimes you don't feel like you get the likeness until you get it. So far, basically. This thing, the ice is awful real. Can use yeah, the ice is not selected yet. Let's try to do something more. Let's try. There you go. Now I want to add a little bit of and one thing I will do is I'm gonna add the plastic color, sorry, material, fill, so it's gonna give you more, there you go, more glossy, I think. I don't know why I lost. Yeah, this is weird. Like maybe the nose needs to be a little more longer. See different angle. Yep. I feel like the eyes has to be .38. That's the one that I like more. move the eyes because I moved the shape of the eyes. The glabella volume here. The head. Amen. Hannibal, yeah, it's gonna be a replay, I think, like a video when you finish. And for the upper skull, I can give you, yeah, for sure. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna send you later. Well, I'm gonna put actually the link to basically like how do you call this, like drive or something, because I don't know how you share it here, honestly, because it's you have to put it like in a specific folder in order to use it. I think is what is the thing? Let me see. Specific name. Gizmo? No. Yeah, I think this one. Screensaver, Cambio. Yeah, this one, Cambio. So I think you had to save it in a specific folder in the document, basically in the folder of ZBrush. But I will give you the link there later. Sure. That's good. Anyway, we're very close to wrapping up today, but yeah, I think it's a good base so far, but definitely needs a lot of work. Let me try to block out the hair very quick. Yeah, let's try with it. Dynamesh. Too much. 64. Very rough. Let me see if I can find. There we go. I think the guy always used like a kind of short, long hair. Yeah, basically what I'm doing here is sort of like a workshop, right? Trying to show in this, like, let's say 3 days, I'm gonna try to show like the whole process from doing the likeness, doing all the porosity with B-Face, and all the process of basically doing the, from the sculpt to the render. So this is more like a workshop. It's not like a, let's say, a tutorial per se, right? Like a step by step, but it's more like a showing. Okay, this is what you can do with it with this tool, and this is all your resource you have available now. So in the sense, it's gonna be more like a showcase of the complete workflow. So I don't know if you follow my work, but one of the latest character that I did, Mike from Better Call Saul, basically did it in the same way as I'm doing now. So doing the same workflow is basically it's gonna give you like a structure of what you can do with today's tools. It's not gonna be like a one-on-one, let's say, like the whole thing, like step by step. It's more like a structure where you can follow there. And as for the restream thing, I don't know. Actually, I never checked since I'm pretty new in in Twitch. I don't know actually what is the exactly, what is the correct values that I have to use, but I will check later for sure. Everything is pretty new for me, man. It's really, yeah, experimenting, let's say. That's cool, man. And what are you doing? Do you do character as well? One thing I'm gonna do here with the Claywood app, I'm gonna add the back face mask, because right now I don't wanna basically break the structure here, like inside. I forgot to add it before. There you go. Of course, I need to add the hat later, but yeah, I don't want to spend time now, since we're close to wrap up today. Tomorrow we can keep going with that. Just downloading your streaming here, but looking at you. Oh, that's cool, man. Thanks. Yeah, the Anakin Skywalker one was a really nice project to really actually enjoy it a lot. But the most, let's say, the challenge to me was the hair. The hair was really complicated, and since I never did haircuts before, that was a little bit like a challenge. So yeah, everything was. I mean, the likeness itself was a challenge as well, but the hair was a whole and a hail of different thing, Because doing all the whole hair using haircuts, that was a little pain actually. A lot of pain. Anyway, so I think I have something, but definitely Sword be like close to the character itself. But um, yeah, but at least you have. I mean, at least at this point, you can have like a, let's say, like a base, and then in the next step, which is going to be like the next day, maybe tomorrow. So I'm gonna wrap the base mesh in this model, and then I will have more freedom basically to reshape the kind of the structure, the face, in the sense. Right now I'm limited in the sense of my model has like a certain shapes that I get, that I have so far. But definitely when I bring a little more of the base mesh, and actually I can have subdivision and stuff, I can move around and it's gonna be more easy, because right now everything is like a little too heavy for moving, like to reshape everything. And the other thing as well, since I will have a base mesh, I will already have actually the basically the loops and everything, and it's gonna be way more easy to sculpt eyes and stuff. But yeah, so far so good. Nothing defensive, but definitely it's going in the right direction, I guess. Let me try to shape a little bit here. Okay. Change here. It's too much. Let's try 6 here and diffuse the diffusively 0.8. Yeah. Let's add something really quick. Sort of a cloth or something there, because right now if he's like the guy is with no clothes, is a little weird. So we're gonna sculpt something really quick. '64. Something really quick, nothing too fancy. I'm gonna do the cloth in Marvel Design anyway, so just as a base to have something now. So yeah, let's move, put it like a little color. There you go. A little more black. There you go. All right. So we're gonna wrap it up for today, and I hope you guys like it. And yeah, so make sure you follow, and gonna do the same tomorrow. Keep going, keep following the process, and hope tomorrow we can wrap the base mesh and then keep going with the rest of the forms. So yeah, have a good one. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.